Did you know that the Bahrain International Circuit has one of the strongest undercuts on the F1 calendar? And if you're wondering, Jamna, I don't even know what the undercut is, don't worry, in today's episode of Jargon with Jamna, we're going to talk about the undercut. The undercut is used by teams to try and get a track position over their competitor, and the way that they will do this is by pitting before the driver in front of them. Once they've pitted, those new tyres and that fresh rubber can be used to try and gain a pace advantage and a lead once they go back out onto the track in their out laps and their subsequent laps. The leading driver, they'll still be out on track and their tyres will be degrading hard, so by the time they do come in for their pit stop a lap or two later, they will be much slower coming in. The idea is that the driver who pitted first, the team that went for the undercut, they've made enough of a pace advantage on those fresh tyres in that clean air, enough so that when their opponent exits the pits eventually, that the first driver will actually be in front. We have a whole team of strategists looking into the undercut and when to do this, and timing is crucial because you have to predict when the opponent will pit and you have to do that 1 or 2 laps before. And you will hear people say Bahrain has a strong undercut, and you might be thinking why? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Mainly this is tyre degradation and pace on tyres, we've got track abrasion and also traffic. The rate of tyre wear is different at different tracks, and Pirelli will actually release a graphic of what this looks like at different tracks, and they will also show how abrasive the track is. These are both higher, like in Bahrain, and when a driver does go for a pit stop, the performance in tyres and the difference between lap times are different enough that the undercut will be effective. Traffic is also a big thing, so at some tracks we'll see high tyre degradation, high track abrasiveness, but we'll also see some tracks that aren't susceptible to traffic when you come out in the pit lane, like in Bahrain. Where there is typically traffic after a pit stop, the undercut won't be as effective because essentially you're coming out into dirty air versus clean air, so you won't be able to maximize the performance on your tyres. You will also lose tyre advantage if you're stuck in the traffic and then you're stuck in a DRS train. You can't overtake, you're basically like a sitting duck. Track length is also a factor too, so where we have longer tracks, a team will go for an undercut, but the defender of that undercut simply has longer to go around the track to respond and make their pit stop. It means that their tyres are still degrading while the undercutting team continue to build up their pace advantage. There are other factors too which I will put on the screen, so pause to read them, but essentially the pit stop itself, it has to go well. General conditions matter, we can't have yellow flags or safety cars, some other reasons too, but essentially the undercut is not a foolproof strategy, but when it does work, it can make or break a race.